Hello, everybody. I am so sorry about being so late. It's crazy. I had a board meeting tonight for our little league stuff, and we started at like 6 o'clock, and we didn't stop until about 15 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. So I was trying to get here as quick as I could, trying so hard to be fast. It wasn't working very well, but oh well. It is what it is. I made it. We're good. And let me see. Let me get chat pulled up here. Teresa, Lady May, thanks for being here. Sound of Silence. How are you? Borrowed Angel. Beautiful. Hope you're doing good. Miss Janice. I hope y'all are still hanging in there with me. Lord, what a day. What a day. I hope everybody's good. Hope everybody's having good weather, all that good stuff. It got cold here. I had to pull out the hoodie. I had it packed already. I thought, shoot, I'm packing all of my winter clothes because, dadgum, it's been like 80 degrees. And then it dropped yesterday really fast. Today I have my fur boots on. I have my hoodie on. It's super cold out there today. But anyways, I hope everybody's good. So I got some stuff, guys, I want to talk to y'all about. And I'm so glad y'all hung in there with me because I got something I want to play for y'all in a minute when I'm through. And I think it's gonna surprise you a little bit after we talk about everything. So, yes, Sound of Silence. It's almost Friday. Yay. Yay, yay. So, it's like 36. Oh my gosh. It's like 49 here right now. And we had a meeting in our concession stand. There wasn't no heat in there. We were all starting to get cold. But I got to watch my granddaughter practice her little ball playing and my grandson. So he plays t-ball, and then my little granddaughter moved up to coach pitch. So it's going to be a fun year. My other granddaughter will be playing in another little town right next to ours, and she'll be playing live pitch. And then my oldest granddaughter is not into sports at all, but she's very excited. She called me last night to tell me her teacher has a bearded dragon, and her teacher is going to be traveling a lot during the summer. So she has asked Allie if Allie would like to have her bearded dragon. And so she called me and told me that, Lolly, guess what? I'm getting a bearded dragon. and she walks on the leash. I was like, oh my gosh. So we have already planned our trip to the park. We have this little 2-mile walking path, and we are going to walk my dog on her leash and her bearded dragon on her leash. And she's already called my daughter and said, hey, KK, will you buy my bearded dragon some clothes? So she's all about this bearded dragon. So we're excited to meet the new member of our family very soon. So at the ballpark tonight, that's all she could talk about. And she asked me tonight if I would even paint her bearded dragon's toenails. She'll start picking out the colors. So it's going to be a fun time. But anyways, things are going pretty good for me. I'm still packing. I got about 90% of my house packed. I have about 25% in storage. Still trying to work on getting the rest there, but slowly but surely life is starting to move forward a little bit. So that's a good thing. It's always a good thing when life starts going a little fast forward. But there hadn't been a whole lot going on too much out on the streets. I did hear Prayer Garden kind of lost her cool yesterday, but I don't pay too much attention. Before we get started, I made a community post, put it out there. So if y'all haven't seen it or whatever, and I talked in my last one live that we talked about was like, if you want to write a letter to the governor, just to kind of give encouragement to not so much replace Hawkins County, but to get them the help they need so that Summer's case is looked into better and have somebody that can really devote their time to it, because we're seeing all these cases being solved. And here's little Summer's case that has not one bit of evidence at all. Nothing at all. So on the bottom of the screen here is the address to the governor of Tennessee. So if y'all would like to, write a letter. Let them know the concerns we have. We want answers for Summer. But anyways, I am going to talk tonight about June 15th, 2021. We know that there was a little girl that lived in Tennessee on the top of a mountain out there. Blue eyes, blonde hair. And she pretty much stole our hearts. And none of us knew her before now. But we've come to know her so well. And we all consider ourselves part of Summer's army. We want to do what we can to help keep her name out there, keep information out there, help, in any way possible to get her to come home. And I was going through some stuff and I thought, I've done it before. I've talked about that day. But maybe I should do it again. Maybe I should go back to the day. And so I started looking through everything I had, my old notes. I went to other creators when they first started talking about her, just to see kind of what was going on there. And then things kind of started clicking, and I was like, okay, I know what direction we're going to go with this. So we start June 15th of 2021. That day seems to be etched in all of our minds. That day in Rogersville, Tennessee, the temperature was 81 degrees. The low temperature that day was 63. Perfect summer day. Around 8:30, Grandma and Candace and Summer leave for the ER. On Ziggy's channel, we've heard two of the tree trimmers that said they saw all three of those get into a truck. So we know for sure that Summer was alive that morning at 8 o'clock. We know everything was okay. They said she looked happy. She was bouncing along and she climbed up in the truck, and Grandma got up in there, and so did Candace. So we know she left the hill at 8:30. Around 10:30, Candace and Summer leave the hospital because, during this time, it's still kind of COVID time. So not everybody could go inside. So they stayed out in the truck, and they leave and go pick up Hunter at his house. So around 11-ish, they go back to the ER to pick up Grandma. And after they pick her up, they went to the smoke shop. Candace bought cigarettes there, goes over to the hippie house, which is very close to each other, and she buys the vapes. So around 12:20-ish, they end up at Warriors Path State Park at the horse pond, where Summer is swimming. We know Hunter got in the water. Hunter did say on his dad's channel not too long ago that when they were there, that him, Summer, and Candace went swimming. So we don't know if Candace went swimming or not, but that's just something he had said. Around 1:33-ish, they go to Walgreens to pick up Grandma's medicine. And from there, they've said they went to Sonic. Well, Hunter also talked not too long ago about going to Sonic, and he mentioned they went to Burger King as well. They went to Priceless to pick up some milk and a few little things. Candace tells us that she thought they were in there only about 5 to 10 minutes. Hunter does say that they were in there for about an hour and a half. Him and Summer did stay in the truck. He said they looked at TikTok videos. So around 2:30-ish is when they drop off Hunter. Hunter has recently come out and said it was 3:30 because his probation officer was meeting him at his house at 3:30. But nothing's ever been said about the probation officer being there. And so possibly it could have been a little earlier than 3:30. But we know that approximately around 3:20 that day, they're on their way home when a video was taken of Summer in the back seat, laying asleep against the milk jugs. And we know that it was taken around 3:20 because of the timestamp on the video. Now, they were on their way to 110 back home. And according to the timestamp, about 3:20, that would have put them from Hunter's house to Ben Hill is approximately about 25 minutes. So they were only, about 19 miles, I think it was, not too many miles from their house. So kind of fits in that timeline. And that's where it all kind of stops. That's what we know. Now, everything else from here down, guys, is where everything turns very crazy. So we're told at about 3:30ish, these are the things that we're told. They arrived home. The boys carried in the groceries. Candace did some laundry. Summer and Candace went and planted flowers with Grandma at her camper. Summer and Grandma washed their hands in the water with the water jug outside. Summer and Grandma go in the camper for Summer to get a peppermint candy. And then she wants to go in the house. So Candace walks her to the house, to the front door, which is only like less than 20 feet. And she tells the boys to watch Summer, that she's going to go fix Grandma's knee brace. Well, 2 minutes later, according to Candace, she goes in the house, asks, "Where's Summer?" The boys said that she went downstairs to play with her toys. Oh, borrowed angel. See, I've heard lots of people here lately just saying, they don't think the horse pond video was taken that day. They're not sure about the milk jug video as well. I don't know what to believe anymore. And I'll tell you why here in just a few minutes, because when I caught this, I was just like, wow. So when the boys tell her that she went downstairs to play, Candace says she called Summer's name a couple of times and she didn't answer. So she went downstairs to look, and Summer was gone. She said she called Don to tell him Summer was missing. And he said to call 911. So now they get home approximately 3:30ish. All of what I just read that we were told would have had to span out long enough to be 3 hours for everything to kind of fit. Because the first 911 call was at 6:26 p.m. when the dad called. Or so we're told. Because we hear the dispatch saying the father just called. Said the mom had gone for a run and came home and the daughter was missing. So the search begins within that next hour. They begin to search for her. So Summer's gone. 911 call. An hour later, people are on site. They start searching. They search through the night. And that night, there's a neighbor right across from 110 Ben Hill. And she does a Facebook Live. And she's sitting in her car talking, telling the story, telling all the going-ons happening all around 110. She just puts it out there. And that sets the whole narrative for the next few years. The neighbor sets the whole storyline. She puts it into motion, and things go from there. So over the years, we've learned things about that day. And those things we can call assumptions, because We can't confirm a lot of things. We don't know whether to believe a lot of people that say these things. And so basically, we're just going to assume. We'll put them into an assumption category. So here's Hunter that says Dawn was home on 110 when they were dropping him off because Candace was on the phone with Dawn and he was home that day. Okay, borrowed angel, thanks. So that's what H says. Now, another assumption has been said that Candace was seen that day on Light Hollow Road on a camera at about 3:45. 4 o'clock or a little after, it's been said that Candace was at a convenience store that was about 15, 20 minutes away from their house. She was seen on camera around 4 o'clock-ish. And it shows her going into the restroom for a long time, a long period of time there. And if we stop and think about it, if Light Holler camera and the convenience store camera are real, what does that mean? It means they got home around 3:30-ish. That once they got home around 3:30-ish, it means Candace did not do laundry. Summer did not plant flowers with Grandma. Summer did not wash her hands in the milk jug with Grandma. She did not go into the camper with her grandma and get a piece of candy. Candace did not walk Summer 20 feet to the house to go in. Candace did not go back to the house within just 2 minutes, which at this point makes you wonder why. Why all the stories? Why all of this whole timeline that everybody's been saying kind of happened the same way, the same times, in the same orders, all along, all this time? It's the same story. So I'm going to play something for you here. And this may be possibly what's going on.
In between. But I'm letting you know how I feel about the whole script.
Could y'all hear that okay? Or do you me play it again? Because Candace is saying basically she's going to tell us how she feels about the whole script. Listen to it one more time.
In between. But I'm letting you know how I feel about the whole script.
The whole script. So is it nothing but a script? Is that all there is to this story? Is that all there is to the day Summer went missing? Was there a script that was put into place? You know, Candace did ask Jody to change the timeline. Why would Jody set the timeline? Did Jody set that timeline when she did her video that first night? Did she set the timeline to distract and to lead a different direction? And told Dawn and Candace, this is what we're going to go with. This is what you're going to say. This is the times, everything. Is this been played out as if they rehearsed it? Guys, it's getting to the point to where it's time for somebody to speak. And I am getting so frustrated with going back and listening to things and trying to talk to you guys, you know, because I want to talk about Summer. I want to keep her name out there. I want to keep things going. And I want to stay committed to her case. But the more you know now, and then you turn around and go back and you start listening to other things and you catch stuff like this, and it is very frustrating because I almost feel like we've been played a fool. Is that what they're doing this whole time? Is that the way they look at this? I don't know, guys. I really don't. But why? Why does there have to be a script? Why does the neighbor have to be the one to set the narrative and the timeline? Why does she get mad when Candace asks to change the timeline? She ain't going to change the timeline. It doesn't fit. Things wouldn't fit in place right. What are they hiding? What is being hidden? Who's being hidden? Who's being protected? What for? All these questions. And yet there's absolutely nothing to tell us where Summer is. Absolutely nothing. Like Hawkins County will tell you, there's no evidence of anything. She's just gone. So people talk about a stranger abduction. I think most creators that have been there, and most creators that have driven by that area and seen what it looks like in person, and we even did the same. We did like a little road trip down Ben Hill Road. We got to see it. And even, you know, Borrowed Angel, and no, I think it was, it was Nana for Life, I think is who it was. And I forget who else it was, but they were talking, Jennifer, about how different it looks on a video compared to being there in person. So if we all haven't seen it, it's hard for us to understand it, but we've had so many of them tell us that is a hard place to get up to. Hey, Lisa, thanks for coming in and joining us. But it's a hard driveway. It's really hard. And with all the trees, as thick as it is up there in June, you know, people don't see up there to the house. They don't see her on her swing. You know, it's not like they know, hey, this is the right place to go sneak up there and try to find a kid. It almost just puts it in that category of not a stranger abduction, not at all. It would have to be someone who knew her. Someone who knew her could come up there and get her. Oh no, borrowed angel. Oh no. You go take care of your baby. Okay? Let us know how she's doing. We'll say prayers for her. Love you, sweet girl. Thanks for being here. Y'all say a prayer for borrowed angel's little baby. Aww. Yeah, they would have to know who it was. Lisa, I agree with you on that one because there's no way. Me, as a strange person, not being there, not knowing that area, driving by, I would never look at that hill and say, oh, yeah, maybe there's a kid up there. Let me go check it out. Never. So, yeah, somebody that knows her. But yet there wasn't a struggle. There was nothing out of order. The police said that her scent just ended. Going down that dog trail, when it gets to the driveway, and there's the road right there, and it just disappears. You know, I think we can all agree she didn't just poof disappear. She didn't just disintegrate before anybody could see her. She didn't just evaporate into nothingness. She had to go somewhere. Somehow, some way, she had to go somewhere. I wished between the neighbor, between the parents, somebody knows what the rest of the script is. Because a child, a person, a human being doesn't evaporate into nothing. So I think, guys, I can very, very firmly say that for the past 3 years, almost 3 years, we've only been told part of the script. We haven't been told the whole script. Or maybe we've only been told their version of the script. Just what they want us to know. Because had they told us the whole script, we would know where Summer is. We would know who picked that child up. Because she couldn't fly. She couldn't take flight at all. If she would have climbed a tree, the dogs would have found her scent going up the tree. Hey, Landon, thanks for being here, buddy. But yeah, if she would have climbed up a tree, they would have had her scent. It just stopped. So someone picked her up. They either carried her or they put her in a car. but that's not part of the script. You see, we're only getting a portion of that script. There's a lot more to the script. I haven't yet, Landon. I just had a board meeting and it lasted like 3 hours. But I saw I had a notification on here and I'll check it as soon as I get through, okay? Is everything okay? Now you got me worried. Are you okay, Landon? I'm nervous now. I hope you're okay. But I will check it out. I promise. Page for his daughter that was murdered. No, Landon. Oh my goodness. Okay, Landon, can I share that page on my community wall? Is that going to be okay? Y'all pray for Landon's friend. His daughter was murdered. The state didn't do anything? Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. I will check it out. He wants everyone to share. Okay, definitely. I'll put it out there for you, okay, bub? I promise. And I'm going to go check it out myself. That's horrible. This world. What kind of world are we living in, guys? It's like every day. Every day. And today, y'all, I got to tell y'all this story. I don't know if any of y'all listen to Dolly. Lisa, hang on just a minute and I'll tell you my thoughts on that, okay? But let me tell y'all this story. I'm going to break up this a little bit. This is the kind of world we're living in these days. This morning, Dolly's talking about this story, and I was just blown away. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I even told Annabella about it today, and I said, never in my whole entire life have I ever heard of this. There was a man. I don't know what his crime was, but he was sentenced to die. He was sentenced to be put to death. Yesterday evening was his time. This is in Iowa. They take him. They tried to do the injection. And nothing, they can't get a vein. Nothing was working right. So they're like, okay. They send for smaller needles. They get another one. They try it. Tried several different things trying to get this to work. Guys, at midnight, his sentence ended. It ended. He was no longer convicted of that crime. But yet they could not put him to death with lethal injection. It just wasn't working. They could not find his veins. It wasn't happening. And come midnight, his sentence is over because his life should have been over. Oh my gosh. How crazy is that? What do they do? He no longer has a sentence. He no longer is supposed to be in jail. He's also not supposed to be alive. But he's not supposed to be in jail. So, wow. I have yet to hear more on that this afternoon. I've been listening for it all day long, checking into it. And when I hear what it is, I'm going to definitely either post it or I'll tell y'all about it. But oh my gosh. First of all, I've heard of like when they go to do something, to either injection or something like that, that kind of just went wrong a little bit. But in the end, they eventually died. This man didn't. And from what I understood, they couldn't continue after midnight because it was the next day. And his sentence ended that day. I was like, oh my gosh. So do they have to set a man free that was like committed this crazy crime that's bad enough to be put to death? And they get to just put him out on the streets? I bet you $10 there are going to be states all over the place that are going to go and make amendments to their law on how executions take place, how it happens, or if this goes wrong, or what. I don't know. I could not believe it. So yeah, Lisa, I want to know. I want to know. And so I'm still digging into it. And then I got busy and didn't get to check a while ago before I came on, but that was a little crazy. Okay, so Lisa, you asked me, what's your thought on Candace having the clothes in the box that Summer was said to have worn that day? Even Candace said she was wearing it in the beginning. I'm a little confused as to why law enforcement did not have those clothes with them. If that video was taken that day. Oh, really? See, I think they should have, Landon, like, if they're going to try lethal injection, they need to have a backup plan, obviously. And I heard there was another place where the first thing they tried didn't work. Something malfunctioned. And so they did have a backup plan and they were able to get it done. So, yeah, call the president, get it reinstated. I mean, that's just crazy. I've never heard of it. And this is the same place, guys. If y'all know about Brian Kohlberger, he is in Iowa. That's where he's at. That's where they're trying to get him the death penalty. I'm like, they better fix it. But as far as Summer's clothes from that day, I've heard that they were just laying there and the cops didn't want them. It was in Idaho. Okay, Idaho, not Iowa. Why did I say Iowa? It was Idaho. Yeah. So, Landon, they get to choose how they're put to death in Utah. That's weird. I think that's what I would want to. But, Lisa, it makes me wonder, though, did the police ever know that's what she was wearing that day? Did they know? I wonder. Did they ask? Did they care to know? I'm just not sure they even tried to know. Oh, so some places have several methods you can choose from. Oh, see, I'm not real well versed on the death penalty. I just know this. Texas does it. They do it quite often. And it's not very far from me. Couple hours, I think it's about an hour and a half from where I live, is where Huntsville is. And, it's what it is. But most everybody I've heard of, they pretty much die. except for Idaho. Oh, yeah, they did drop the ball, Lisa, 100%. But I get her putting those clothes in a box and her swimsuit and some of the other things that she would have in that box. I get that. Um, I have certain things of my son's that I pulled out of his room that I keep with me in my room because I don't want anybody else to get it. I don't want the kids playing with it or whatever. It's just certain things that meant something to me. And I have the shirt that he wore the day before, and it had not been washed. It had his scent. And I mean, it sounds crazy, and y'all might think I'm crazy, but I did put it in a Ziploc bag and sealed it. And every once in a while, I can open it and just get just that little taste, or not taste, that smell of him. But I really personally think the box was something that was made for Candace to have. There was a subscriber on somebody's channel, I don't remember where, but I do know they made that box for her and then they sent it to her. And it had Summer's name and it was all decorated up. And then she put, yeah, sound of silence. That is 100%. Yeah, why wait a week or longer? Oh, that was crazy. I think this whole thing is crazy. The way it's been handled, you know, why would they take a sock that probably Summer and Waylon both wore, possibly? Who knows? My sons wore my socks just because they needed a pair of socks. Didn't matter if it was pink or purple, they'd put them on. My oldest one would wear my pink fuzzy house shoes to run into the grocery store to go pick up something for me. He didn't care, and that, so when you're little kids like that, you don't care. Just grab something, put them on. So why wouldn't they use her clothes that were a definite thing that she would have wore, and especially that day? But I don't get that. And then I wonder to myself, did anybody tell them? I wonder, did Candace or Grandma say anything to the police officers? That's what Summer was wearing today. It's right here. This is what she was wearing. She wore that on the way home that day. And then when she got home, she changed clothes, I guess. I don't know. But then again, that might not have been part of the script. They didn't ask, and it wasn't on the script, so it wasn't said. Now I'm being a smartass, I know, but that's kind of where I'm at with this, guys. If it's not on the script, they're not going to say anything. But why would law enforcement not take that? If that was the last known thing that she had worn that very day, just hours prior, why would they not take it? Makes no sense whatsoever. That's who it was, Music City Mom from Cam and Alley's. Yes. I knew somebody had got that box for her and sent it to her. It was really pretty. Yeah. So many questions. You're right. tons of things haven't been answered. So much just sitting there. But the cops were more worried about bringing Candace a bottle of whiskey. I don't understand it. And like I said last week or last time I was on, I'm not trying to be mean towards Candace when I say that. But guys, I live in a town where I know all the cops. I know the judge. I know judges in the town next to us and cops in the town next to us. And when my son was killed in a car wreck, I had police officers coming to my house, but not one of them brought me a bottle of whiskey. They stopped just to pay their respects or something. And then they went on. They weren't there for a crime scene to look for evidence for a missing child. And they still didn't bring a bottle of whiskey. Why will you do that? Why are you going to do that to a parent? Why were those parents not taken downtown? Why a script? Why, for almost 3 years, do we have a script, a timeline that is narrated and put in motion by the neighbor? And then the parents want to change it because that's not quite what they wanted to say or doesn't fit their timeline for some reason or another. Why is it 2.5 years now? We're finding out Dawn was home that day. Why are we finding that out now? Why didn't Dawn say that in the first place? Why didn't he say I was home with the boys? Had the boys that morning, we went and looked at a job or did a little bit of a job. We came back. I would left the boys here. I went back. It doesn't hurt to tell the truth. It only hurts to tell the truth when you've done something wrong. So we can't help but sit back and wonder, what the heck? What have you done? You know, and I get so aggravated when I hear people just attacking the parents like 100% straight on, bam, 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 you know. But it's how the parents have communicated with everybody. It's how they put things out there. It's how it's everybody else's fault. It's so much wrapped up into one. And it's words like, let me tell you how I feel about the script. It's that makes it very questionable. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, we have a neighbor who created a timeline after she set the narrative. She started all that very night. Leading up to it, she created the perfect storm. I don't know if y'all have heard all of her Facebook videos or not. And I wish she still had them out there. But she created the perfect storm. Somebody bought the property next to her. She's having to do survey lines. She's dying from cancer. But yet, you know, hey, I'm going to go out in the woods tonight. There's going to be a Klan pop-up, or there's a Klan pop-up. We're going to have to go out there and check on things. And, you know, on and on and on and on and on and on, and tree trimmers and this and that, and properties being bought up. And if you step a toe on my property, I dare one of them. And she was talking about a kid. Yeah, Kim, that's it. Yeah, exactly, Kim. Exactly. It is all, Jody Sue is playing the whole thing. Oh, that easement did belong to JD. Yes, for sure. She was stupid. And she even admits to moving the lines, the property line. She moved it in a way and angled it in a way that, girl, it was hard for him to even put a lawn chair up there. But yeah, so here we got a neighbor who creates the perfect storm. The perfect storm. She didn't die from her cancer. Thank God she's smoking them cigarettes, because, you know, that helped her save her life. And it's really kind of funny how her speech problem she has only happens when she's doing all those long, long, long lives, drinking whatever's in that cup, probably taking a couple of extra things along the way. You can tell she's high as a kite. She's drunk something, and she's slurring. But that's part of her speech problem. That's the person who has created all of the stuff we're talking about. And that's starting to piss me off, guys. And the police haven't done anything. Here's the parents who either need to be, yes, we think you're guilty. Here's the neighbor. Yeah, we think you're guilty. No, y'all didn't do anything, you know. One or the other, something needs to happen somewhere. And nothing's happening. And I honestly, 100% believe that those people in that holler, in that county there, the whole area, wants all of us to just shut up and go away, so that this story, this little baby girl, can just fade on off into the sunset. Gone. Poof. It's over. Let's go on with life. It's not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen, guys. I'm talking, I am so tired of the fact that I just sat here and watched Audrey down the road from where I live. I mean, it took me 30 minutes to drive to the little memorial. And it's on the other side of where she lived and where she died. And all of that played out in less than a week. All of it. Every bit of it. And, you know, all they knew is that she didn't get on the bus that morning. But the person that was with her said he dropped her off at the bus stop. Just like Summer's mother said, I walked her into the house. It's all the same. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Kim. He did say that. They would have lived at first, at least gotten charged with, see, something. You know, there's So much that should have happened. And you showed me one case where a child comes up missing, that they don't take a parent in and interrogate them, that they don't sit them in at the police station right away to try to get down to the bottom of everything. Ask questions. She disappeared on your land. Her scent just stops. How do the parents get to pick and choose when they take their lie detector test? They're too sleepy, according to the dad, hungover, high as a kite, whatever, to complete a lie detector test. So they're going to come back and do another one. Who's allowed to do that? Nobody. I mean, you look at the little baby. What was the baby? Oh, baby Sabrina. She comes up missing from her crib at her house. They believe so much that those parents did that they put bugs and wired up everything that they could listen to. But Dawn and Candace, no. No. Why? There's no children in their house. There's a house that was not great to live in. It needed a lot of help. They needed a lot of help. But I'll tell you guys, and y'all may not agree with me on this when I say this, but I look at their pictures. Those kids are doing stuff all the time. And it's not like they're going shopping for, name brand clothes at the mall, at these fancy stores. They're going to waterfalls and swimming and playing in the water there, standing under the waterfall, getting behind the waterfall, climbing up on the rocks with the waterfall. That you see them in kayaks. You see them on tractors, hay rides. These kids were loved in a way that their parents knew how to love. These kids were happy because they didn't know a whole lot different way of life. They were always doing things. They had some things. May not have been the perfect life. But I don't think the kids were miserable. And I do question the essay part of it. I do question it. I wonder about that. I pray not, for those kids' sake. But that's something we don't know. And I'm not going to be a person that puts that on the parents. I'm not. And I'm going to call it like I see it. And these are parents that have not had much pressure from the police at all. But yet, they say they don't have any evidence. So, why? Why don't you have any evidence? Is that because you only searched a few miles out around that hill? And that's all. That's all. I stick with every word I said in my last video. I call out Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. I do. I blame them for a lot. The way things were handled. I know they're overworked. They don't have a lot. But guys, there's a way to go about things. There's people to ask for help. But they kind of avoided a lot of stuff. They stayed in charge, in control. And all along throughout there, they're losing officers due to pornography of children, assault on children, things like that. Yeah, sound of silence, they did. Lisa says they don't deserve to be called mom and dad. They're sickening, and it sickens me to think what all those kids seen and heard. I hope they played a lot just so they didn't hear the crap. Totally get it. I totally get it. I mean, there is so much that they have put out that portrays a horrible, horrible life. You know, I wonder how many times those kids heard the N-word from their dad. Were they ever called that? You know, he was raised in a time where that word was used. And in an area where it was used a lot. And it wasn't anything. And what gets me with that is, in his mind, the way he was probably raised and told was it had nothing to do with people of color. It had to do with the lifestyle. But that word does relate back to people of color. So it is offensive. But those kids probably have heard it before. No, I don't believe that Ellie's protecting the Wells. I believe they're protecting themselves. Some of them. I think every person out there is protecting themselves. I think, Kim, because I think there are so many people that know if this one person is caught, it's going to untangle a whole web of so much more. May not have to do with Summer, but that person can talk. And when that person says anything, it's going to be a domino effect. And they're all crumbling down. And therefore, they all, by protecting themselves, protect everybody in that holler. That's what's happening. It's obvious. And it's obvious the police are some of those protecting themselves. Because you don't have a little girl that comes up missing just months before, and you let all of these people just volunteer to go look for her in the same type of terrain that you're looking for this girl a few months later. But you don't allow anybody to volunteer to go out there and look. and use some crap story about they might get hurt. The people that's going to volunteer are from there. They know that terrain. They know what they're getting themselves into. But no, not for summer. Oh, no, Kim. Mm-mm. Yeah. I really do think Fred has heard or seen most of what he said here lately with Ziggy. I don't know. I feel like there's something to Fred's story he's talking about. Frank Light, he's just a piece of crap. And I don't care if he hears that. Any man that does what he did to a baby and put it on video is disgusting. He did not spend near enough time in jail. Sherfy Jr. either. And his dad can kiss my big toe. I don't care. It's just, ugh. The whole mess of people out there. I'm not putting this just on the parents. I'm not putting this just on the neighbor. I'm not putting this on just it. No, that whole area out there has issues. Miss Chewy, hi. Thank you for being here. You're so sweet. You're so pretty. Thanks for being here. But yeah, guys, June 15th. Summer goes missing. The parents stay up there on 110. The neighbor goes live on Facebook. She sets the narrative with the perfect storm she had been creating prior. She set the narrative. She set the script. She set the timeline. And they all followed suit. Everybody in that place, everybody around there. Dawn said from the very beginning, this is bigger than y'all know. This is big. It's bigger than you know. Is it very? Yes, he is scary. Yes. He's sick. I would be terrified of him, to be honest with you, if I lived anywhere close to him. But it doesn't make me want to not poke his eyeballs out. See, now, Lisa, a lot of people are not sure about Fred. I don't know. I know listening to the stories he told Ziggy from the beginning when she went there, I found a lot of it to be truthful. I dug into that pretty heavy. I found a lot of it to be truthful. Now, some of it he did exaggerate on, but, it was actually truth to it. So, what do you do with that? So, but I think, like I said, I think I said it last time I was on or the time before. I think Fred was one of those people that was kind of quiet, kept to himself. And people thought he didn't have any friends. And so they would go to him. They would talk to him because he didn't have hardly any friends. So he's not going to tell anybody. Nobody listened to him. They thought he was a mean person because he shot somebody. But that man was charging after him, and that's why he didn't get no jail time. The guy was coming after him with a gun. So I agree, Kim. Summer needs to be found. Somebody needs to talk. Oh, yeah, Lisa, you'll have to go look. And I don't remember what the name of it is, but I talk about some of the statements that Fred's said and how I found what I found. So, yeah, I talked about it. And most of it was to where I could find factual information. And then there's a few that were questionable. We put under the questionable category, but only because somebody had, been the one to say something about it or confirm it. And it's kind of like, do you believe them or not? Let's see. Do you remember the neighbor telling that story that she kicked shells into the creek? Yeah, this is the same neighbor that wants you to put your feet in the water so the dogs don't, they'll get your scent. Wash your scent off. She's stupid. Dogs can smell under the water, like way down there, a good ways down. So all she did was put her scent in that water. Why? Why would she do it? Because that was the same day her son had to help her because she was too ill. She couldn't move that day. Have y'all seen that creek? There's parts of that creek that is not so easy to get up into. You're going to have to walk through a little area of, leaves and roots and rocks, and then it kind of goes down into the water. And there's some places where it just drops down. And the place that she happened to say she was at, it drops. No way. No way. Let's see. Fred Hill and Jody both are nosy busybodies and goings on in the holler. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. I can agree with that. Where was he when they were searching? I often wonder. Are we talking about Fred Hill? Yeah, Fred Hill. Is that who you're talking about? Oh, Lisa, I'm glad you enjoy being over here and listening. I'm glad I can give y'all good stuff. Oh, Jody Sue's son. Well, isn't that interesting that you asked that? Because the son and daughter were made to stay in the cabin while mom and dad sat down at the end of the hill. Wasn't that something? Lisa, you said that so perfect because I really don't think Jody Sue thought Fred would ever talk this much. I think she painted Fred as some psychotic psycho that nobody would ever want to go up there. Nobody would want to get close enough to Fred Hill to ask him any kind of questions. But thank goodness Siggy did. And y'all, I'll say this about Fred. If he was at home and he was cooking his meth and doing meth, he's in jail, not doing it. Probably, having some withdrawal symptoms and all that stuff. And now he's in a rehab where he's completely got it out of his system. He's clean, sounds different, more lighthearted. He looks good, healthy. 3 different stages. But Fred's still telling the same exact story each time. He's still telling the same story. And when people try to trip him up on it, he corrects them and tells the same story. That's why I believe Fred on what most of what he says. I really do, because that story never changed. He has always been very adamant. Oh, yes, she did, Lisa. She got her son out of there quick. Yep, she did. Oh, Kim, she always protects Frank Light. You don't talk about him. So many people. What a tangled web this has become. Just like Dawn said from the very beginning. This is bigger than we ever could imagine. And the uppers, you know, you can't help but think that that's got to be like your law enforcement. To Dawn and Candace, I could see it being law enforcement. Very much so. Somebody with a little bit of power or authority. I could see that. That would be an upper to them. But I still believe, and I have been on Jody, Sue, and Andy for a long time. And the only reason I ever said that, thought that, possibly that, was because how hard Jody Sue tries to distract, to change that narrative, to get you to look over here on this side and stay off of her side over here, that kind of thing. Her ramblings, her sagas, her stories, her puzzles, her whatever she's mumbling about, always tries to just throw you off. And if you're a person who's not hiding nothing, you would just be talking. You wouldn't have to be distracted. You wouldn't have to be putting out little things. You wouldn't have to speak in codes and send that message to that certain person that needs to shut their mouth and quit talking. You wouldn't have to do all that. You wouldn't have to send a message saying, hey, I got your back. Don't worry about it. Whatever she's saying, whatever she's trying to do and create, she wouldn't have to do that unless she's trying to protect or hide something. And if we go with what Fred said, Andy was in the holler that day. He was seen on the same road as Candace. Not long after Candace. He was seen at the end of the holler by Fred. But yet Andy tries to convince us he was still at work because his boss said so. But, you know, if you were innocent, why would you have to try so hard? What are you trying to hide? Why are you not together any longer in court battles? She talks about him like he is Satan himself. he doesn't talk bad about her. He does say, no, she didn't do that, or I didn't know of her doing that. She just outright talks mean and ugly about him. But by golly, you threaten him. You even act like he's going to do something. You use her words to try to make him look bad. She's going to be on there begging you to leave her, her littles, and her monster alone. Nobody does that. Nobody asks you to stop talking about their monster. Not unless there's something there. Something they have on each other. Or possibly someone that stands between them that they try to cocoon. And that person could know that dog trail very well. That person could know the property pretty well. That person could be welcomed up on that property at any time. And that person could have been up there playing with Summer before, being nice to her, pushing her on her swing, probably being that big brother type. Possibly little sister too. Don't know. I think more towards the big brother type. And mom and dad step in to take over from there. Possible. Very, very possible. But yep, same person that was sneaking all over that property. Knew just where to go up that hill to listen to people talking up there, to not be seen quite so well till they started walking around. Catches a glimpse. If he was welcome on the hill, why'd he run? Exactly, Kim. Look what she did to Jackie Dodd. Oh my gosh. Poor man. Just wanted some peace and quiet. And what happens? He buys a piece of property next to Jody Sue Brown. Good gosh. You know, it was just him and his dog. And if they put a little tiny something up there, he probably would have been just happy and go lucky and would have never bothered her. But she had to make such a stink about it. It was unreal. But that's the neighbor. That's how she is. Exactly, Kim. She was mad they didn't sell that land. Yep. Because she makes the comment, well, if Sarah would have just sold that land or took my offer, that's what she said. Yes, I believe if Jody Sue does not hold the key itself to this piece of puzzle, she's connected in somehow and helping to cover it up. But Jody Sue, a lot of people think she's just rambling, that she's inserting herself so that she can be important in this case. And I kind of tend to agree with that. because that's kind of her personality. But when it comes to the serious stuff, when it comes to her monster, when it comes to her children, and like she gets pissed off when people say something about her little kids. Seriously, they were never little from the very start. But she's the one that had them sitting in the car with her while she's doing her Facebook videos. She's the one that put her children on TV to speak. Her son goes on TV to speak. She puts her daughter's voice, lets her daughter talk on YouTube. And we mention it, or we talk about that, and we're the bad people trying to attack and murder and terrorize and all the above, everything. No. She's using her kids to insert her narrative, to try to twist and turn things around, and then tries to make you think you're crazy. She's psychotic. She's psychotic. But yet she's a person that I believe she loves her children in the only way she knows how to love her children. But I also believe that she is seriously holding on to something. She is protecting Andy as much as she can. She is protecting her son as much as she can. She's got her daughter right beside her, becoming her, just like her. To protect her family for what? From what? What for? Nobody is going to your place of residence. If they drive by, it's just to see what your camper looks like. Just to see if you're out there. Just for curiosity's sake. Nobody wants to harm her. Nobody wants her dead. Nobody wants her laid up in a hospital wounded. Nobody wants that. We just want the truth. And we want to know what she is either protecting someone else from or playing a game of protection. I don't get it. And I wished I did, because if I got it and I understood it, I could understand what she's doing. But we can't get that. We can't understand her, so we don't get it. Yeah, people are going to drop by. Y'all, I have said this from way back. I have told people, if I ever go that way, I'm going to park on the other side of the road, put me a lawn chair at the back of my car, and I'm going to sit there for a minute. And if she says anything or sends the police, I'm just going to tell them, hey, I was tired of driving. I needed to stop for a while. But anyways, that's just me being snarky. But nobody wants to hurt her. So why is she so adamant to make herself into the victim? And you would think after all this time that she would figure out nobody cares about her daughter. And I don't want to say we don't care about her. I'm saying we don't care how they live. We don't care what happened in her marriage. We don't care what happened 20 years before we ever heard about Summer Wells. We're here for Summer. We're not here to find out Jody Sue Brown's history, her life story. We're not here for that. We're here for Summer Wells. End of story. That's what we're here for. We came here for Summer. And I'm pretty sure none of us heard of Jody Sue Brown to watch her on Facebook, because she would have videos where there wasn't even nobody listening to it. Nobody. But hey, she kept talking, which was good to hear later. Because, that's where she contradicted herself the most. So, I don't know. But I keep getting off on her, and I can't get my head to stop with why is she doing all this? What is she protecting? And the other day, I finally was just like, Loretta, stop. You don't think like her. You're not going to understand it. And if you did, you would have the answers. And I honestly believe that. I honestly believe that if I could understand her 100%, I would know. But nobody understands her. Nobody gets her because she won't allow it. And she puts just enough weirdness in there to keep everybody distracted. She created this timeline for June 15th, 2021. She started the whole narrative for the story of Summer Wells the very day it happened. She's on Facebook talking, telling all about the things that are going on, her feelings about it. She created the narrative. And when all of us started being pulled into YouTube, we already had somebody here in this community that pulls her videos and starts playing them. Well, of course, everybody's going to be drawn to her. We want to hear what it's like to live where Summer lived. We want to hear from somebody who knew Summer. We want to hear what her neighbor has to say. But we thought we would get a lot of Summer and not so much domestic violence that eventually played into it, because that's not how it started. Just chilling, my bud. How are you doing? I hope you're good. Haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for being here. You're so sweet. I hope you're doing well. Y'all should check out Just Chillin' in his channel. Oh my goodness, he has some really cool stuff. He takes us on field trips sometimes. Yeah, she was telling the people, feeding them. Yeah, she said, I gotta hurry, get back. I'm wanted for interviews. Yes. But yet, the first interview she did on TV was like months later, taking care of business. You're going to Beverly Hills this weekend? Oh, I will be watching. Yes. Y'all go join Just Chillin'. We're going to go to Beverly Hills. He's going to take me there. I'll be looking for that. That'll be fun. But yeah, I am so thankful for Squaw Tit playing those videos. She pulled them, she played them, and I'm very thankful for that. We got to hear it. We got to see. And unfortunately, we sit here a couple months shy of 3 years exactly. And still don't know anything else. Nothing. Hey, Kim, is there any way you can pull his channel and post it in here for us? And y'all can go sub up to him if y'all want to check him out, check out his channel. It's always good to go venture off into different little niches of the YouTube streets. But oh wow. See, I've been packing up my house. I moved in here with 5 people. I'm the only one left here. And they only took a suitcase. But I'm packing up and fixing to move. And it has been a nightmare. Y'all, it's been a very emotional time. I lost my son, just a couple years ago, and I had to pack up his room by myself. And just every little thing. And my child he was born in the wrong era, y'all. He should have been a 70s baby. This kid was so crazy about the 70s. Just me and my martinis and your Doberman. Well, it's just me and my Australian Shepherd. So I'm starting to enjoy it. I'm starting to adjust. I was always so busy raising babies and then grandbabies and, all the fun stuff. And now it's taken me a little while, but I'm starting to get there. But yeah, it's been a rough time getting through this house. But I think when I get through packing, get everything out of here, get it cleaned, get it on the market, get it sold, I'll be okay. I'm going to be okay. Never been the married type. What? Wow. Well, stupid me. I was married 32 years to the same man 2 times. Not getting married again. Oh, Sound of Silence. Thank you. You too, sweetie. Have a good night. You don't look like Austin Powers. Stop it. Stop. Y'all, look at me tonight. Oh my gosh. I was out at the ballpark for an hour and then I had a meeting for 3 hours and I ran in this house. turned on here because I was late getting on. I'm just thankful somebody showed up and stayed and waited for me. But I love going live. I love talking to you guys. And I like to talk about Summer a lot because this is a little girl. She needs us. She really, really does need us. And I have met so many super great people on here. Just, it's amazing to me the friendships that I've formed on here. That it's Summer Wells. She's a little 5-year-old girl, went missing about 3 years ago from Rogersville, Tennessee. And we talk about her. We talk about her story and try to keep her name out there. Look at you go, Kim. Way to go. Y'all go check out Just Chillin's channel. Oh, Siva, stop. Okay, get out. Get out. Get out. Yay, you did it. Thank you, Kim. Y'all go check him out. And y'all can go to Beverly Hills with us. He went to Chinatown one time. That was fun. And to the cemetery where a lot of people are buried out there. That was really cool. So anyways. Oh, come on, Just Chilling. I bet you know your stuff. Kim's learning. She did good. I'm proud of her. I accidentally was closing up my laptop, hitting buttons, and somehow I even blocked Kim. I had just made her a moderator. And then she got blocked. Deleted, I think, some of her stuff. I don't know. Some of this stuff sometimes so tricky. It's just ridiculous. Anyways. Well, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed it all tonight and everything. I hope hearing that little clip of Candace talking and saying, well, okay, thank you. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to be looking for you this weekend, okay? I promise I'll do better. I keep telling him he's my long lost cousin. I'm sure we look nothing alike. But he's my long lost cousin. I'm sure. I'm sure of it. You take care. Okay. We'll see you soon. But I think hearing the mom say, I want to tell you how I feel about the script. It just floored me. I mean, you didn't need to hear everything before or after or whatever, because that just stood out like a sore thumb. I mean, if you want to go here, you can go to Allie and Cam and Allie's, however, they still have all their videos out there, so you can go listen. But let me tell you how I feel about the script. Oh, Lisa, thanks for being here. Thanks so much for being here. Everybody, y'all are so cool and so good and so sweet. And y'all don't forget it. I got memberships now. So make sure you hit the like button. Just trying to grow the channel a little bit. I don't want to be huge, guys, okay? Not trying to be huge. I don't want to have all those people. I can't even keep up with my chat. I just want to make sure we get Summer's name out. The more people we get, the better it helps us to get it out there. But I do really appreciate everybody. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I have an email. You can go to my community page, get my email in the About section. Email me if you ever have any, just something you think about. And you say, hey, we need to talk about this. Just send it to me. We'll dig into it. We'll talk about it. We'll get on here and talk about it. Because this is, I created this channel. But you guys are what's making it a channel. So it's kind of your channel too. So we'll work on it. If you ever have anything you want to do, or if you ever want to come up on panel, you're always welcome. So always keep that in mind. Okay. And if you want to write the governor of Tennessee and say, hey, we need someone to light a fire in Hawkins County and find this little girl. Other places are finding their kids. Hawkins County has no clue. There's the address. Feel free to write it. So, that's what we can do. That's all we can do. But don't give up. And if you listen to other channels, go into other chats or whatever, just kind of pay attention, because they may know something. People talk outside of, these channels. They start talking and people go there and they, hear things or whatever, however it works. Yeah, write one, Lisa. I've already written one, and I am going to put another letter in the mail soon to the governor. I will continue that. But listen to what other people say. Pay attention to it. See if there's any credibility behind it, because there's so much that's being put out there. You really have to pay attention before you take off and follow something. Make sure you know, guys. Make sure you know it's true. Make sure you know it's factual. Everything I put out, if you don't think it's right, if you don't think it's the truth, call me out. Tell me so, because that's what I want here. I want to be able to say things that, like a while ago, I said, these are things we've learned. We're going to put them under assumptions. We're going to kind of, possibly, maybe, but this is what we've been told. But we can't prove it. But all we can do is keep talking. And I can talk. I like to talk. I'm just so sorry I was so late getting going tonight, guys. Oh, I will be ready when it is finally opening day for Little League Baseball and we can start playing baseball. It's crazy. We were talking jerseys, names on the jerseys, insurance, franchise. We talked background checks. We talked field and how far from the home plate to, oh my gosh. I was just like, I gotta go. So, oh, well, Lisa, thank you for joining us in chat tonight. Kim, thanks for being here, being my mod tonight. Appreciate you. So y'all are so super great. But y'all take care. And everybody have a great night. Get y'all some rest and just have a great Friday tomorrow. Okay. And hopefully it won't be too long. And I'll be back to see y'all. Love and hugs. Mwah. Bye, everybody.